Chapter 3. Living the Truth. Introduction. We are wondrous motion. We are the revelation of truth. And yet, we live as though we are items, objects, something static or definitive. We are infinite, and yet we believe that we are limited, in danger of injury or extinction. We are love and light, and yet we often perceive ourselves as darkness, in danger of darkening or being darkened. Like that of all living things, a person's essence, his nature, how he was created, is more beautiful and more powerful than can be expressed in words. A person is light. He depends on nothing and illuminates everything, just as the sun warms and brightens, not because it chooses to do so, but because this is its nature. The awakened person encounters within himself a beauty that reminds everyone and everything with whom he comes into contact of their own natural and inherent beauty, perfection. The Greek word synergy is defined as the simultaneous emergence of two or more energies which shed light on one another and become free. It is not one actively liberating the other. It is not breaking chains or releasing from a prison cell. It is a liberation that occurs spontaneously when we encounter truth that is love. This is how I know, with a knowing that cannot be undermined, that any belief telling me a story of fear, pain, or danger is merely an illusion, a delusion of the interpreting mind, of the world of fear. This is how we remember the truth, through the other person, with the other person, via the other person. Living synergy means living with the awareness that I have come to see my true essence and the simplicity of my beauty through this life, exactly as it is. Living synergy means experiencing continuous relaxation from my thoughts and opinions. When I cling to or identify with a thought or opinion, I become bound to it and limited by it. Its very essence becomes a substitute for what I am by nature. The moment that I relax from my thoughts or opinions and stop clinging, I make room for mystery to emerge, to take its rightful place and reveal itself within my life. This is the dance between a person and his soul. This is the dance between divine grace and the human condition, the way we live today, in the here and now, in this moment. I think that what happens after this is what we call miracles. Those circumstances where it's not clear when or how things happened as they did. Those situations that occur and appear to be planned so that what we thought was impossible takes place through channels that have become readily available exactly at the right moment. It is proof that we have let go. It is proof that we have allowed the static image that we believe to be ourselves to come to an end. This is the meaning of dying to self. The thoughts and opinions that made up my identity, my personality, and the circumstances of my life are over. They are no longer significant. They are no longer relevant. They are no longer valid. This is how I respond to the dance with my greater self, with my higher self, with my one self, with the one. This is me calling to myself from outside of myself. But do I listen to the voice that speaks within me? Do I dance with life so that I enjoy the movement, breathe fully, and am open to all touch? Do I want to be moved, to be excited? Do I want to feel everything? Any time that I categorize, any time that I judge, any time that I want something on principle but just don't have time, or am afraid, or want to but don't know where it will take me, and without knowing, I cannot move, I block the dance. I stop the breath. It is not a question of virtue. It is not a question of being a good person. It is not a question of bravery. The mystery is motion that never stops, that exists always and forever, in each and every moment. This kind of motion is not caused by anything. It stops for nothing because it is the nature of all things. It is inherent to us because it is our nature. This chapter intends to connect the natural laws, how things are naturally, with the generators of what really is, the manners and constructs that, if we live according to them, can allow the truth to live through us and us through it. Things as they are, natural laws. The natural laws are not rules of a game or laws created by people or authorities of any kind. They are simply the way the world truly happens. Most of us are not familiar with these laws, and as a result, we don't realize that we do not live according to them. In fact, we often live in direct opposition to the knowledge and wisdom that can be found within them. But, since we too are a part of this nature, the wisdom is found within us as well. When we attempt to evade these rules, to deny them or outsmart them, we suffer. We go against things as they really are, insisting that we know better. And the name of the game becomes friction, a heavy cost, pain, sacrifice, duress, and forcefulness. When we believe that we must get over ourselves in order to reach truth and fulfill it, we create friction and pay a steep price, because the nature of things is already here, waiting for us to notice it and to simply say yes. The thought that life is merely a means for us to reach truth only reinforces the illusion that there is or can be something other than what is true, other than the nature of things. As we get to know these natural laws, we can submit to them and, with their help, learn about ourselves anew. Beauty, love, happiness, and wisdom can arise through them and be expressed in every encounter, in every creation, at every moment. A natural law will never be more than you can handle because it appears directly from the source and only in accordance with our saying yes, only in accordance with our agreement to submit to the truth. Therefore, you'll be wise not to argue against it, disobey it, or pass it over. This would be vanity based in ignorance, confusing the behavior and thoughts that you have created and in which you have learned to believe with the truth that is revealing itself each time in a different way. How to return to, remember, and live the natural laws. A summary. Returning to knowledge and using it as a basis for what we see or hear. Knowledge that comes from truth acts like a force of attraction. It simply is, and any attempt to oppose it will bring confusion and a sense of defeat, and will be doomed to failure. I want to become destabilized by this world. I want to allow myself to see and then return to live the knowledge, the truth. Being destabilized allows me to distinguish between the thoughts created by my mind and truth, that which is truly happening. Being destabilized allows me to shed myself of identities and beliefs that I am not ready to release. It allows me to notice that specifically by saying goodbye to what was and how things appeared to me, I am now able to see things in a simpler manner, more immediate and more straightforward. I want to be confused by the world, because only then will I be able to notice and then leave the endless cycle of my thoughts. I want to allow myself to be cracked open, to ask questions, to deny conventionally held beliefs, and to express doubts. Anything that can be destabilized is transitory, invented by people who live in a world of thoughts. It is an illusion. Totally surrendering to knowledge. I allow all thoughts and feelings to work through me. I don't fight them off. I don't fight anything off. I identify the thoughts. I watch them, and I remember to also watch and listen to the soul. When I do this, the thoughts weaken and a powerful movement of love and presence emerges. It's all a mirror. There is nothing inside of me that is not also reflected on the outside, and there is nothing on the outside that is not also expressed within me, in my thoughts. I wouldn't be able to identify or feel sorrow if there was no sorrow within me. I wouldn't be able to see wisdom and beauty if they did not already exist within me. If there is blindness in my environment, it to some extent exists within me and emerges from me. Everything that happens in me also happens outside of me, and everything that happens outside of me also happens in me. If so, what is a secret? Can I run away? Is anything hidden? Can I banish something or someone from my life? We are infinite light / life force energy. We are an energy that gives life, the power of love. Nothing can darken us or be taken from us. How would we live if we knew that every person we meet is a life energy, that there is no way that he or she could be anything else? How would an encounter with another person appear if we knew that through me she could remember her true nature? Our thoughts create reality. There is no reality other than that which is reflected by and wearing the shape of our projected thoughts. We are the projector. The reality of our lives, that active experience, which we are invited to undergo in every given moment, is a reflection of the extent to which we know that we are light, or, alternatively, the extent to which we identify with our thoughts. Therefore, our own reality is what allows us to see that we are light. It enables us to see the light through what is happening right now, exactly as it is happening. It enables us to shed ourselves of the worlds that we have invented via our thoughts. Everything is one. Even if you think that you are separate from the world, you cannot push it aside because it is inside of you. All of its shades, colors, meanings, and sounds are within you. There is no outside. There is no place where we are not one. Every person, every animal, each plant, each body of water, all are one. Every one and each natural phenomenon reveal this oneness and remind us of it. The one exists in every being, but it is not dependent on any person or thing. Awakening. There is a state of being, and then there are the thoughts that we have become used to thinking are us. We are here, in this life, in this world, to distinguish between the truth and the thoughts and stories that we have convinced ourselves are true. Awakening takes place in two motions. 1, knowing truth, constantly remembering the truth and submitting to it, no longer arguing with life. 2. Permission to be confused. Pain and fear are signs that it's time for me to wake up. They push me to pay attention to what confuses me, to the way I am being driven by the mind and its rules, by the thoughts that are its tools. I identify the thoughts. I look at them directly, and I know that they are not me. And then I return to truth. Magnetizing, force of attraction. When I come from a place of lacking and fear, the other person, he or she with whom I am interacting, comes from the same place, from the same belief. My energy, basic beliefs, and the vantage point from which I approach life become like a magnet. Like attracts like. Living the natural laws is not a question of doing the right thing. It is a simple recognition that makes all the difference. The difference between heaven and earth. It is the choice between living my true nature, that for which I was created, or resisting it. This choice has clear and simple implications. When I say yes and live my nature, I am happy, even in the most difficult circumstances. When I say no and object to living that for which I was created, that which I truly am, I suffer and am in pain. Saying no means denying who I am. It creates an inner conflict between my true essence and how I think things should be or want them to be. It is wasted energy. It is a power that has been created to attack me, and it can never succeed because I can never truly silence myself, nor can I ever destroy myself, because I know the forces of destruction and the battle tactics, and also, primarily, because what I am can never end. I didn't create it, and I can't destroy it. It is I. Here I am. Guidelines for saying yes and returning to the basis of knowledge. The natural motion asks us to use life as a litmus test of knowledge through which we can see and remember how to simply and truly be. I plant myself sturdily in the principles and see what can be seen from there. I obey. I repeat these principles even if my thoughts, feelings, and emotions tell me otherwise. I believe the principles of truth and know them to be true, even if my mind tempts me to reject them. I speak the truth about where I currently am and allow space for all of my feelings and emotions. And then I give myself back to truth without trying to resolve the paradox. And with this, each time I return to the truth and the principles of life, my understanding becomes expanded and my insights become more precise. And I am able to serve myself and others in quantum leaps and bounds.